Hello everyone, I'm Fang Zhou Zhao, and my student ID is 2430965Z.
Hello everyone, my name is Johan Zhang, and my student ID is 2471017Z.
My name is Xiahui Yu. My student ID is 2473813.
Okay, today we will give a presentation on the digital forensics. First, Johan will give an introduction of the background in this presentation.
Okay, the victim in this case is the Octane Corporation. Although Octane Corporation widely uses network systems in its operations, its internal network systems are not connected to the external internet, but in the end, there was a data leak. Some documents containing sensitive company data were stolen and released to the public. The company claimed that the suspect was a former employee who was a software engineer in the company. The company suspects that the suspect used the anti-forensics technology to write sensitive data into bitmap images and smuggle them out with the mobile storage devices, finally using the sensitive data to influence the stock market and profit from it. For the law firm representing the company, their biggest concern is that they cannot find sufficient evidence to support Octane's suspicions. Therefore, we will make suggestions on the forensic challenges facing the case from 4 key areas of anti-forensic technology. The first challenge is the destruction of evidence. The most fundamental purpose of destroying criminal evidence is to prevent investigators from using evidence during the investigation. The suspect in this case will completely use technical means to erase his trace in order to obstruct the investigation. However, the act of destroying evidence itself will also leave evidence. If we further analyze the target equipment, we can still get some clues. The second challenge is to hide the evidence. The purpose of hiding evidence is to exclude it from the scope of investigation by investigators. In fact, the evidence has not been destroyed. It still exists, but it is not readable. In this case, we think that the mobile storage device used by criminal suspects is most likely a container with important evidence, hidden and encrypted. So, how do you crack the encryption of the device and extract the evidence smoothly is a challenge in this case. The third challenge is the elimination of evidence sources. This is one of the most brilliant methods. The purpose of eliminating the sources of evidence is to leave no trace in the whole criminal process. If the evidence itself does not exist, there is no need to consider destroying or hiding it. In this case, we need to check whether the criminal suspect has hidden the source of evidence, because it is very likely that the criminal suspect will connect the company's network to the internet through the unknown network vulnerabilities of the company without leaving any traces through the special tools, and finally smuggle out the data through the internet. Therefore, it is very important to find the criminal suspect's tools and any traces that may be left behind. The final challenge is the counterfeiting of evidence. The most direct purpose of forging evidence is to create false evidence and mislead investigators. In this case, the suspect may make false evidence in order to give himself more time to delay the investigation. Therefore, in the process of investigation, investigators need to restore the criminal scheme as much as possible to eliminate the influence of false evidence. And next, Fang Zhou Zhao will will make more details.
Okay, in this part that is the literary research, that I will further explore the four key areas of the forensics science, mainly from the existing forensics means to introduce the existing countermeasures and the key point in those four areas. The first is that the destroying evidence. The existing means that the forensics ask price carving tools to restore the data are available. Those tools can be powerful. They can completely recover the deleted data. However, it's important to know that there are many covering tools, and we should, depending on the different type of the files, to use the different one. And even the same type of the files, like the image that we have, the PNG and JPG, but the different format also need different tools. It is also important to ensure that investigators are trained and able to use the tools because of their abundance. Secondly, that is the hiding. Uh, in the hiding part, we find that the hidden evidence is common, and this is mainly based on the various encryption methods. And the trigger part is the full disk encryption. The technology has low barriers to entry, and the many tools are fast to use, and the coins need to be found in the memory to break in. So the close the power that will make the encryption. So uh, a computer outage can server disrupt searches. In addition, the key point to crack the encryption is that whether the criminal, the suspect, can provide the password. And in this part, that may bring involve some legal issues. And the third is the limiting sources. In this part, that we can focus on the possible whether a system files has been modified, and those files are likely to record the trace the operation of the computer and the desks. So if the suspect of the limiting sources, so it is possible to access to system file record, detecting which software have accessed the system files, and investigating the existing software environment in the computer. That will help. And the last is counterfeiting. That the key in this part is to make sure that the field, the hash value of this field, as long as the hash value of the field can be detected and compared with the original one, that we can find whether it's a fake field or not. The hash value is just like the fingerprint of the field. It is possible to judge the authenticity of the file through the hash value comparison. So find the original file to compare will be focused in this part. So, and now we will give some argument about this case. The first part is the possibility way of the suspect. First is that the destroying evidence. In the destroying evidence, suspect can easily do this. The unreasonable that the criminal brings this data in any way, but they can just easy to delete it. So it's always a method for the criminal.
Because the existence of the cloning tools, it's easy for forensics to get the evidence. Destroyed evidence should not be the first choice. Even when the suspect uses anti-forensic technology, he will use other technology with it, not only it. So it's not the first choice.
Okay, and we know that the he is a software engineering, and he can also encrypt his task in their mobile device, and to avoid being searched. That will bring some low case, right?
According to the logical problem and difficult to get the password, hiding must be the most possibility way for the suspects to use.
Okay. So the limiting source is that is a that the case that also possible that he is a software engineering. He can develop some software that can access and modify the system logs. It seemed to feasible.
Besides on the suspect is software engineering and engineer and the network system is not connected to the internet. He has a full and comparison ways to provide the generation of the evidence, but this work is too large and cost much of time. So it is not possible for him to do that. And there is another way called factoring. It requires most cost and time to build a field with the same hash value. So it also not possible for the suspects to use this method. And the other part is variability of the case. This develop two sections. The first one is about the octa. There are two things. The first is that we should get more physics evidence from the suspect, and the other is analyze the possibility way, the more possible way for the suspect to use to anti-forensics. The other is for the suspect. We consider that he will use the enter forensics, which we talked before. And the other thing is about the law problem. The most possible law for the suspect is the Fifth Amendment. Besides on the physical evidence we get from the suspect, we can make sure that he crime and use the foreign conclusion doctrine to improve the success of the case. Above all, through the analysis of two sections, we know that the success of the case will be large than the fail of the case. So
Okay.
we think that it will be success. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for watching this video.